Hogan for the Boxing Voice. I'm here with Liam Wells via Zoom. How are you, Liam?
Yeah, I'm very good, thank you. Yeah, thank you for having me on.
Pleasure's all mine. So you've stepped in to replace Josh Adewale against Chavez Campbell, 12th of February, Brentwood Centre. So great, you've given Chavez an opponent. So you've been a pro since 2018. After a period of a couple of years, you were active initially. Then obviously the pandemic hit, and like Chavez, you've been inactive for coming up to 2 years.
Yeah.
But if you could just tell us a bit about your boxing story, how you got into the sport, how long you've been doing it, maybe a bit about your amateur background if you had much.
Yeah, so when I was younger, me and my friends from school, we started kickboxing, and I started as a kickboxer, and I won 2 world titles as an amateur, and I turned professional in kickboxing. I won the professional British title kickboxing, and then I was getting on all the big shows, and then I injured my knee, and that put me out, and then I moved into boxing. Thanks to Adam Hart, he got me off to a brilliant start with MTK, and I've just loved the boxing ever since. I've just never fought back at the kickboxing. I've got so many goals set on what I want to achieve in boxing now, and like me and my trainer now, Jamie Williams, just work hard every day.
Fantastic. So it's from a kickboxing background you've come. You're in good company. A lot of those Thailand fighters. They go through what you went through, so you're in good company there. So, do you know much about your opponent, Chavez?
Yeah, like Jamie does all the telling you what I need to know about him. I know he's quite tall, quite long, quite rangy. It's perfect for me. He's a brilliant opponent as well. Like since the start of my career, I've been in real fights, and I only want to be in real fights. I don't want to be in with someone with 30, 40 losses. I want to be in. I'm not in boxing for that. Do you know what I mean? I want to be in there and test myself against good people, the same as I did in kickboxing. You fight the best, and if it don't go your way, it don't, and you keep progressing on, and eventually reach the level that you're at. And I believe that I'm a level above Chavez, and I can put a big performance on, and keep pushing on. And our goal this year is the Southern Area title. Not for 1 minute that I'm looking past him at all, but in our gym we want to do things as a traditional route, and I want to win a Southern Area title, and I'd like to defend it this year. So they are my goals. So I can't obviously look past Chavez. I need to put on a big performance, a dominating performance, and show everything that I've been working on these last 2 years. Even though I've been inactive, which is a thing. Everybody, like not many people have been active, but I've done 2 camps with Josh Taylor. I went to Future Ventura. For Josh's first fight when he fought the Thai, and then I was helping him for the second fight as well when he fought Ramirez. So I've done 2 back-to-back camps with Josh. I've had a few fights of my own that fell through. So even though I didn't have the actual test at the end of it, I've done a couple of hard camps which have put me in good stead, like learning-wise, experience-wise, and I think they're going to show in this next fight as well.
I mean, Josh Taylor can't get much better sparring than that. I mean, he's really
even being around them sort of people, like being around Ben, being around Josh, all of them sort of people. It's you can only take experience from that, and it was brilliant for me, and especially that they wanted me back all the time. I mean, I was sparring 12 rounds with Josh at one time, so I took so much away from that, and I've learned so much, and it's going to put me in a good position for this fight, definitely.
That's great. What gym was it that you said you train out
of? Legends Gym in May Bakers in Dagenham. My trainer is Jamie Williams.
So you're an East London boy.
Yeah.
Chavez is a Haringey boy, so this is very much it's got a Tottenham versus West Ham vibe about it. So
that's it. Yeah,
that's always a needle game, as you know. So you two will probably hopefully bring that into the ring. So looking at your record, you previously, it looks like you fought mostly at welterweight. Have you outgrown that division now?
Well, yeah. I mean, even though I fought welterweight, my first fight was at middleweight. My first few fights were at middleweight. I'd only made welterweight a couple of times, and the times when I don't fight at welterweight, I've stopped someone, and I've performed a lot better. The fight to welterweight, it was too low for me to make. I couldn't make that healthy enough and in the right way. For this fight, like today, I've had a big session today, bouncing off the walls, like how hard I'm working, like because I've got energy and I'm fueled. When you're making all these low weights, it don't necessarily mean you're going to perform as good. It's all right making the weight, but you got to perform at that weight. And this weight suits me down to the ground. I will be challenging for titles at super welterweight, but this fight suits me perfect for this.
I mean, Chavez, he fights at middleweight. So do you think he's going to have a size advantage over you in this fight?
Definitely not. Definitely not. No, definitely not. I spar middleweights, I spar super middleweights, light heavies, and I can hold my own against them. The strength's not a problem for me. Yeah, no, not a problem at all. So no, that'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Chavez, he's listed at 6'2". Your height isn't listed on BoxRec yet.
Yeah.
How tall are you?
Yeah, I'm 6 foot. I prefer fighting the taller opponent. Not going to say struggle, but it's in boxing the power comes up, sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's hard punching down on someone, and I think the things that I've been improving on in the gym will show in this fight against the taller opponent, which will be a key thing for it. So I'm looking forward to that as well.
Mm-hmm. So looking again at your record, I have to confess I had to look at BoxRec because I didn't know much about you beforehand. Yeah. Most of your fights have been fairly local: Brentwood, York Hall, and of course this next fight's at Brentford. The one time you had to travel further afield was your one defeat. Can you tell us, was the traveling a difficulty? Did something go wrong in that training camp? Did you learn much?
Yeah, I'm not one for excuses at all. I got beat by the better man, and if the things that I got beat by was better, then I would never have got beat. But that's what learning's for, right? You make mistakes, you learn from them, and you develop and you get better. I don't regret taking that fight at all. Paddy Gale's a brilliant fighter. We should have won the British title against Chris Jenkins. Been in some massive fights. Beat Callum Smith in the amateurs. A brilliant fighter. It was just all too soon in my career. Nothing against Paddy. I'm 10 times the fighter I was when I fought Paddy. Mm-hmm. If I fought him that, it'd be a total different outcome. But Paddy's a great guy, and I wish him all the best with what he does next. But you've got to have them defeats to come back and learn. Look at the way Canelo lost to Mayweather, and he come back and now he's like the defensive king. Do you know what I mean? You've got to go through those things, and it made me realise and learn a lot more about boxing. I'm not. It don't mean nothing losing. It don't mean your career's over. Your career's done. And I'd rather lose against a big name like that as well, and be in there with these big names, and losing with someone with 20, 30 losses, someone who's coming to win. And I mean, after my fight with Paddy, he went on to fight for the British title against Chris Jenkins, which he should have won. So yeah, obviously I would never have wanted to lose. I definitely not. And I believe that I could beat Paddy now with the way I've improved. And there was a few things running up to the fight as well, which weren't in my favour. But it's just life. You get over it, and I'm ready again, and I'm learning, and yeah, I'm more matured as well. So yeah, I'm in a good place for this.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this obsession with unbeaten records is starting to wane now. We've seen, like in the past year, some veterans like Maxie Hughes and Jason Cunningham who've got 5-6 defeats on their record, come back and get a shock win over some cocky youngster. So
this is what I mean. And even like Derek Chisora, he's one of my favourite fighters. Like he's fought Joseph Parker, Dillian White. He got a better resume than any other heavyweight, and he loves boxing. So when people say he should quit, why should he quit if he loves boxing? You wouldn't play football of a Saturday, lose a game, and then expect you to quit. And when you get that pressure taken off yourself, that if I lose, my career's over. I don't give a shit. Like, don't bother me. Like, I've got more important things in my life than that. Of course, I will never want to lose for nothing. I would never accept losing, but it ain't the end of the world. You got to go again. You got to learn. You got to get better at it, ain't you?
Absolutely. So I mean, you mentioned your kickboxing background there. You've obviously had the 2 years of continuous training and working with things. Was there a lot of technical corrections that you had to make that transition?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've always sparred hard. I mean, when I was with Adam Hart at the start of my career, I was always down the matchroom gym sparring Connor, Ted, Felix, all these top boys with very little boxing experience. and I sort of learnt my trade along the way, sort of thing. And then I've been sparring Josh. So I've had all these great hard spars, but I've not actually had the learning spars where we're stopping sparring and we're saying, right, break that down again. Which the last year and a half, 2 years, this is what I've been doing with my training. We've been breaking down sparring and bits that are when I'm doing something wrong, I'll stop it there and break it up and try and improve on them bits. And yeah, been more technical and learning. And I'm always super fit. Everyone knows I'm super fit, so that stays the same. I love training. I'm addicted to it, so that stayed the same. But I've just been able to add the learning into boxing more, and yeah, it's done me the world of good, really. So yeah, it's only done me good.
So it's fair to say that this 2 years of inactivity, you've stayed fully motivated. Never felt like you wanted to give up or pack it in because fights weren't coming.
If never, I wouldn't go into some of the things, but like family issues, my own body health issues, things that I'd gone through myself, like operations in the couple of years I've had, things that have gone through, which I'm not going to say about, but like if people were going through what I'd been through the last 2 years, they would have definitely not boxing on the head. Definitely, there's no way. Like a list of about 10 things: family problems, my own health problems, injuries. People would have knocked it on the head, but I've stayed strong through it, and I know what I want out of boxing, and I'm not going to stop till I get there. So yeah.
Fantastic. I mean, you mentioned there the route you want to take. I mean, there's going to be a couple of super welterweights on the card. Don't know if you know about some of the other fights on the card. You mentioned the Southern Area champion, Dean Richardson. You looked at him. He's a big puncher.
Yeah. I know the belt's been vacant now. And Lee Cutler v Scott James. Scott James, I beat in my debut over 6 rounds. My very first fight. He's fighting Lee Cutler for the Southern Area title. I think it's on March the 5th. So there's no reason why I don't deserve a shot at that. I beat him in my debut. Come back, put a big performance on. This is why this fight's a key for me to put a big performance on. There's no reason why I shouldn't get a shot at that. And then I'd like to do things as a traditional route. I'd like to defend it like a proper champion, then move on to the English title and do things the proper route. The boys in my gym, there's a guy, Chris, in there, and he lost. He fought for the Southern Area, I think 3 or 4 times, but in the end he won it. And if that's your goal, then that's your goal. And I want to win this Southern Area title. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
And of course, just down to A406 is Sam Gilly, who is the current English champion. So another possibility.
Another possibility. I'd love to fight Sam. Like no disrespect, Sam's brilliant. He's doing brilliant things as well. And I'd be rude to him to be calling him out now and saying, "Oh, I want Sam." He's over the time I've been inactive, he's been achieving great things. So I wish him the best of luck. But if I can do things the right way and I can win this Southern Area and get a shot at Sam, it'd be amazing. It'd be a great fight for the area as well, and a big fight. Brentwood or York Hall, we could do a big show there. So yeah, hopefully if we both keep winning, that'd be one that I'd love. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, the super welterweight division, I'm sure you know, in the UK, it's pretty hot. It's very competitive. How do you see the scene? Who do you see is the best super welterweight in the country?
I still think, even though he's a bit past it, Liam Smith, I think he's the best in the. Still a bit past it, but I still think he's the best in the country by far. I know Anthony Fowler's moved up now, and Troy Williamson done a brilliant job on Ted Cheeseman, and see what comes next for him. But yeah, it's good.
Have you managed to get any sparring with any of those illustrious fighters?
Yeah, I was sparred with Ted Cheeseman quite a bit, and I learned loads off Ted. Ted's a great guy and great boxer, and I've probably done a good year sparring in and out with Ted all the time. So it was brilliant for me learning off of him. Yeah, it was brilliant.
What about the world scene? I think there's a lot of talk. I don't know if it's confirmed, but Charlo and Castano for the undisputed. You're going to be watching that with interest. And who do you think is the best in the world?
Yeah, definitely. It's brilliant to watch big fights like that and learn stuff from it. That's what we need in boxing as well, with these undisputed fights, like getting the real champions and seeing who the real number one is. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah, who do you think wins that in the rematch?
I think Charlo wins that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Did you think he'd win? I think this time Charlo will get it right. I think it was somewhat fortunate first time round, but I think he's shown that he can adjust and in a rematch and get that.
Yeah.
So 2022, hopefully a big year for you. I mean, if you were to set out a plan, what would you like to have achieved by the end of the year?
Yeah, by the end of the year, I'd like to be Southern Area champion. Maybe have even had one defence on it. But that's the goal for this year. But again, you can't overlook fights, and the next one needs to get a big win February the 12th, and then I'd love to push on for the Southern Area title. I want to be active this year. I want to be active this year. I'm up for taking big fights, big risks, and I want all my hard work over these last sort of 18 months to show off. And normally when you have a fight, you get a bit burnt out and you feel like you want to break. Like even after this, I'm grafting hard for this, and I feel like I'm loving it. I'm just loving being back, loving going to the gym every day. I'm loving the resting part of it. I'm loving eating good again. I've got a brilliant focus. So I want to keep momentum and keep pushing on for fights after this.
And are you able to box full time, or you having to keep a day job as well?
Yeah, I mean, I do a few sort of PT sessions here or there, but it's like it would never get in the way of me of my boxing. I put my boxing in front of everything. If Jay says to me we're at the gym a certain time, I'll make sure I'm there. It would never get in the way of my boxing. So I'm quite fortunate in that respect. So I'll put everything into boxing and make sure my recovery is good now as well, with my massaging and my resting. I feel I'm a lot more mature, so should all come together for this fight.
Fantastic. Well, Liam, it's an exciting year, and more importantly, exciting 12th of Feb. Look forward to that. I'll be talking to Chavez soon, and let's see what he's got to say. And hopefully this will be an exciting fight and kick off your career for 2022.
Brilliant. Yeah, brilliant. No, thank you very much for having me on.
Pleasure's mine. So Liam, thanks for speaking to the Boxing Voice, and we'll see you in about 6 weeks.
Yeah, see you soon. Thank you.
If you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit the like, subscribe, and share. As always, if you want to support us to the next level, head over to the patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. We have tons of exclusive from Border Wars, from title, betting shows, the list goes on and on and on. But in addition to that, if you guys have questions for fighters, trainers, and promoters, this is where you can submit them. We will run out, get these questions answered, and put it back on the show just for you guys. Appreciate it. Peace.